And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to Champs-Elysees Raceway as we continue on our little tour of France here at Champs-Elysees Raceway in, I believe this is, I did know where this particular town was called, but I can't think of it right off the top of my head. But anyway, last week we had Anthony McCurry joining us at Darlington for the Snickers Cup Series race. Guess what? He's back! And Anthony, we ended up seeing Ian Dutta dominate the Darlington race, basically. Here, this race, he's got a pretty big points lead coming into Champs Elysees. What do you expect to see?
Well, I expect to see Ian, take a repeat of what he did last week at Darlington. I mean, I think that's him starting in the second row right there in the 66. So, hey, Ian, great qualifying spot. He's got a huge points lead coming into this race. I'm pulling for Ian Dunn at this point. I mean, I think he could probably go back to back with the luck he's been having. And as you said last week, he could be the next John Citadino.
Now, here's the thing that we got to keep an eye on here today is the fact that Noah Hart, Bob Jones, they had their problems last week. Danny Wells actually moved up to second in points. He's 40 points behind Ian Dutta, but he's starting in the fifth position right behind Ian Dutta. So, will we see a potential? I don't think we could really have a battle for the points lead with it being a 40-point advantage. And the most that a driver can get in a race is 47 points. But we could maybe see a new face come up here into trying to run Ian Dutta down for the points lead.
Absolutely. I mean, you got everyone that's gunning for this championship, and you have the points are just so close this season that anyone at this point can make a dent on Ian Dutta if he has a bad day today, or Ian Dutta could just run off and win the race, and the points battle would still be really, 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 really far away from Ian Dutta. But you know what? I'm just the point system is really good for close battles, and I think that we're going to see a really, really close battle come to the end of this, to the end of the regular season in the chase. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Well, we're talking about Ian Dutta. We're talking about Danny Wells, drivers who have had really good consistency here so far. Let's talk about a guy who hasn't been as consistent in the last few weeks. He's starting on the pole position, Kyle Corbett. Now, he's a former winner this season, won back, I believe it was at Auto Club, but he was up inside of the top 10 with his teammate Charles Sanford for a majority of the first half of the regular season. He's now down in 26th place, so this could be an opportunity, a track for maybe trying to lock up a wild card spot, and he's got himself good track position to start the race.
Right, Kyle Corbett on the pole. I mean, like he had a pretty bad run at Darlington. I think all three of the Michael Waltrip cars wrecked out of that race. So Kyle is definitely looking for a better run here today, and he does need to claw his way back out of the points deficit that he's made up. But you know what better track to start your luck than here at the very tricky road course of Chantilly, and hey, he could probably pull off an upset and win this race, and then go on to maybe put a dent into the top five in points. So I think it's a really good thing to see a driver have a bad race and then come right back and get the pole and possibly put himself in a potential spot to win.
All right, let's talk about the race here today. We had our Truck Series race, which I guess could be in a way classified as a wreck fest. We did actually have a little bit of a green flag run, but not much. It seems like we were under the yellow flag a lot. However, in the Mobile Cup Series race, they kept together really well. It ended up coming down to green flag pit stops. Here today, what do you think we're going to see? Are we going to see drivers have to use pit strategy, during green flag runs, or are they going to basically just be wrecking every single lap?
Hmm, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, two different races, two different styles. Like, this could go either way. I mean, if it goes into a long green flag run, then expect to see pit stops come into play. However, if we have a caution about every other lap, then pit strategy might not be such a big thing. It'll be a thing because, track position. I mean, if you take four tires as opposed to two, I mean, at this track, if you're under the caution all the time, tires really don't mean anything because you're, under the pacing laps. So, uh, expect drivers, go for like one tire, not one tire, but two tires, maybe, short pin on gas when it comes to the end. And hey, we could see some pretty interesting pit strategy either way. Now, whether it's going to be a wreck fest or a long green flag race, that's kind of a toss up because these drivers have watched the mobile and the truck series races, and we'll see what style they pick for this race. And hey, we could be surprised, and it could be a little mix of both.
Alright, so it's time to get these cars rolling off, and while they roll off, we'll be showing your starting grid on the top and bottom of your screen. Anthony, who are you looking at in this particular race to watch here at Champs-Elysees?
Let's see here. Well, Ian Dunn is a given because he's right up there in the front and he's the points leader. But I'm gonna go with the winner. I think he won last season. I may be mistaken, but that's John Cittadino because John Cittadino has proven he can win at this track. And he was in the 42, I believe, when he won the when he got his first win here. He's starting quite a ways back in the field, but I'm going to watch out for John Cittadino because, hey, he's good at these tracks, and I think he can make his way through the field and maybe go for 2 wins in a row.
Well, you're actually correct. John Cittadino is a former winner of this race. Last year, however, it was Jeffrey Buckeye who went to victory lane. Cittadino was the year before when we made our debut at this track. I'm going to actually go with a car that maybe you might not consider, but he ran pretty well in the Truck Series race. I'm going to go with Dylan Young because this guy has really needed some good luck to come his way this season. And Jeffrey Buckeye, when he won last season, was in a Penske Germain number 12 Ford. So obviously Penske knows how to bring good cars here to this particular road course, and Dylan Young is a good road course racer too, so I think being a 2-time winner last season, he's going to try and find that groove this season and try and make the chase, because he just barely missed out on making the Snickers Cup Series chase last season. He doesn't want to have that happen again.
Ryan, and to your point, you said that Dylan Young was good at road courses. That's actually very legitimate because the team of him and his brother won the 2.4 hours of Le Mans in the RX class. So
exactly.
Wow, this is maybe French tracks are good luck for Dylan.
Now we've talked about international tracks, how a lot of times, even though it may not exactly be their home country or anything like that, but the international drivers try and really impress. And we've got Joshua College, Sean Galligan, Ralph Mason, quite a few international drivers. What do you think we're going to see out of them today?
I think it's going to be bragging rights between those drivers. Like, I expect Ralph to be finished in front of any of the international drivers. He'd be like, I'm in the lead, la 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 la, and then he brags. He's like, none of what I said happened. That's from an online multiplayer game.
It is. If you want to see that, you can find it in my montage.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's going to be bragging rights between the drivers, and you know what? This is going to be one exciting race, and I just can't wait to see what kind of show these drivers are going to put on. We're going to go around the final corner in a second, and put them under the green flag.
I'll tell you the drivers to watch as far as points, 6 through 11. Harrison Langford, Charles Stanford, Cole Daly, Joshua College, Jacob Lawler, and Andrea Erickson, all separated by 6 points. Some could drop out, some could move their way into the top 10 in points. As we are green flag racing here at Champs-Elysees, Kyle Corbett gets us underway.
And you got to watch out in this first corner. Going out too wide is going to put you on the dirt.
Man, Mary Cole almost literally shoved Corbett into that corner. And they're 3 wide behind him.
Wow, hey, I just really...
4 wide behind him.
Yeah,
Galligan
that's
backs out.
Holy...
Good idea,
Holy
Galligan.
Cow.
Man.
Yeah, that was a smart idea. That was a smart idea.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're 3 wide back here. McIntyre, Langford, William Duncan.
I haven't seen them race hard like this ever since we left. Oh, what was it? What was the race before Darlington?
Let's see, before Darlington.
I can't remember.
Was that Spartan?
Well, regardless of what the race was before Darlington.
I think it was Spartan.
Yeah, Spartan. I haven't seen like this since Spartan. Yeah.
Battle for the lead, 2 Toyotas.
Yeah, wow.
1 out of Michael Waltrip
3
Racing.
wide at
1 out of Joe Gibbs Racing.
Indeed, and Mary Cole is probably looking for redemption because she didn't even take the green flag the last week at Darlington. So, and she's right up here in the hunt in second, chasing down Corbett, who also, I think, crashed out of the race. He might not have, well, regardless, he was in a crash.
And I think we're under the caution.
These 2 drivers are looking for redemption. Oh, we are? Oh,
yep.
Okay.
First caution of the day.
Never mind. That just kills any momentum that I had going into this commentary.
Well, Kyle Corbett's going to be the leader under this caution. And, oh, second week in a row, looks like Bob Jones may have run into trouble. Our Truck Series winner from this week.
Oh no.
But,
Oh,
oh,
is that
Charles
Schwalbenberg?
Jackson.
Schwalbenberg.
Charles Jackson's on pit road. And Schwallenberg, you're right, it's at the rear of the field here.
Defending champion Jackson and Schwallenberg. Is there damage to the 39 of Jake Cole?
There is rear end damage and a donut there on the 3 of the left side of his machine as well.
Was it just me or was Sean Henley's hood buckled up?
Oh, it
Oh no,
doesn't
no,
look like it, no. I don't
it's
think
just
so.
me. That was just me. Never mind.
Maybe. But Charles Jackson is on pit road, the 19 car. Actually, I think he may have actually retired already. He has. Oh my goodness, the defending champ, Snickers Cup Series champ. He has had a tough season. He's currently 22nd in points. And what's been a very, very dismal weekend here at Champs-Elysees continues for him in that number 19 Dodge. Boy,
Hmm.
first retiree of the race, and it's the defending champ of this series.
That's not the way it's. You don't want to go out early under any circumstance. And yeah, I guess Charles decided that, you know what, the car's too damaged to continue. Let's just put it behind the wall, and I'm gonna go get some mayonnaise.
He's gonna go for a mayonnaise stop.
Mayonnaise stop. We should include mayonnaise in our pit stops from now on.
We should.
Make it a thing.
We should. Make it happen. So right now the top
Make it a thing in NNSCRA.
So right now the top 5, as we'll go and look back at the replay, is Kyle Corbett, Mary Cole, Kyle Matthews, then Danny Wells, and Andrea Erickson. Let's jump back, take a look at the replay. We'll put us under the caution for the first time today. Then we'll come back and see if anybody might try some pit strategy and pit here early on in the IGN Grand Prix at Champs-Elysees. Well, this was right at the drop of the green flag here. Now, this I don't think was what brought the caution out, but I think it's replay worthy. Apparently, they ended up bunching up here, and I think the 9 ran into the back of the 47, and then Charles Jackson's into the back of his teammate.
Sparks be flying here at the French Champs-Elysees.
And I think Colt Daly got turned around there, too. He was able to drive away, though, but a couple of teammates out of Abraham Mayonnaise Racing running off track, and this was not what brought the caution flag out, but now we're going to show you what did.
Indeed.
And here's a look what actually brought the caution flag out. Bob Jones running 4th in points, Ralph Mason 18th in points. I don't really know what went on there.
Someone clipped Ralph. Ralph clipped Bob Jones, and Bob Jones smacked the wall, and everyone lived unhappily ever after.
Oh, and Bob saves it. Then Jay Cole turns him, and there's where Dylan Schwalberg gets involved. And I saw the 33, the Starbucks Chevy Megan Atkins, had a lot of front-end damage leaving the scene of that accident.
Indeed, and you know, that's just adding insult to injury. I mean, Bob gets clipped, somewhat saves it, and then he gets clipped again, and then that just ruins his day. I mean, come on, guys. This is racing. You're not supposed to crash people, although that seems to be what the case is.
Rubbin's racing.
That is true.
And let's
So,
jump ahead here. We know Charles Jackson retired, but I would think it'd be for more than what happened. Oh, he got dumped by Sean Henley.
Uh-oh. I sense a rivalry brewing between those two.
There could be, because look right here. Henley, right into the left rear of Charles Jackson, turns him down again into his teammate Drew Austin. Oh, don't tell me.
Those teammates. Oh, no.
Oh, my word!
Oh!
I've never seen that at this track before. Holy cow, that was driver's side
Oh,
into
right
the
in the
wall.
driver's side door.
Oh, my goodness.
That car went airborne really high. That is reminiscent of no, what was the crash? I believe it was didn't I hit the pit wall like that once at like Eminem and I
Yeah,
went
you
sky
did.
high?
I'm trying to see if we can get a... unfortunately, there's no really good camera angle. I'm
Guess you
wondering
just
if...
gotta do roof view.
I'm wondering if maybe, just maybe, hold on. I'm gonna see if we can make our own custom camera here for this, because All right, so there's Charles wrecking there. I'm gonna go. Whoops, that wasn't
And
what I
do
meant to do.
Dally. Dally will see that really good.
Well, I was actually going to go from the rear of the 25 and see if we can line it up there. Let's see. Let's go on the rear of his car. Oh yeah, this will work.
All right. Oh man, yeah, that works.
Unfortunately, we don't get good camera angles here at Champs-Elysees on the back straightaway here, but this is about as good as it's gonna get.
Watch this car spin, slide, and pow and fly.
It's gonna happen right here. There's the hit, and wow.
Oh.
And look at Jake Cole. Oh man!
Ooh.
Wow!
I think he needs new underwear.
I think he needs some undies, compliments of Dylan Young's Huggies.
Gee, that's gonna need more than depends.
Oh my goodness. Let's see if we can actually use the Henley car again, but this time we're gonna go from the rear chase, so maybe we'll be able to see a little bit better over the top of these cars here, because
Indeed.
that's gotta be. I've seen a lot of hard hits taken at this track, but I've never actually seen the pit wall come into play.
That was a very, very hard impact.
All right, this should give us a really good angle.
I hope that Charles is okay
Yeah, I
after
hope
that.
so too. I mean, man, what a tough week he's had. He was running well in the Truck Series race, and he was, I think, third place, fourth place at the time, got wrecked. Look at that. I mean, that is head-on driver's part of the car into that pit wall, and I think that car actually went a couple inches into the wall.
And you know what's worse is that's not a safer barrier. There's nothing there to, pad your impact. I mean, that's just a concrete wall.
Good point. Wow, that is one of the hardest hits I have seen taken at this track ever. And that is a
Wow.
tough, tough break there for the defending Snickers Cup Series champ Charles Jackson. Certainly not what he expected. I don't think it's what we expected. That was just crazy.
I thought that it was just a simple crash and he retired, but now we know for good reason why he retired.
Well, that's what brings out the caution. Well, actually, the incident with Schwallenberg, Ralph Mason, and Bob Jones actually brought out the caution. This was a follow-up wreck under this caution lap, but that is what put us under the yellow here for the first time today. Let's take a look now and see if any drivers are going to try and use some pit strategy.
Indeed.
Well, some of the leaders decided to come down pit road here on lap 3. We saw this in the Truck Series race here, and Corbett giving up track position to come down and make a pit stop. But a lot of drivers decided to stay out, so this is going to be interesting to see if these guys can work their way through traffic. But here's the question. What if the thing goes into a long green flag run? These guys are good to go for a couple laps. Everybody else would have to pit under green.
Now, I'm not exactly sure what the fuel window is, but I do know at road courses your fuel management is a little bit easier to do than at some speedway tracks. So, it's a variable. I mean, like if say the fuel window is 15 laps, you could theoretically and virtually save that much fuel on the racetrack without giving up too much time. So, I mean, that's a lot of laps to make up, but virtually, if everyone is in the same boat you are, then you could, theoretically make up that much time in on the track. So, it's something that we're gonna have to watch throughout the course of the race, and if we get another caution really quick and a bunch of these leaders that stayed out come down pit road, and that just throws that out the window, and maybe the drivers that stayed out now come down, and the other drivers have to pit, and they'll be good to the green.
Well, there's a point I want to hit on with you, your knowledge of road courses. But real quickly, we'll tell the drivers that stayed out. Kyle Matthews is the leader. Jacob Lawler is second. Harrison Langford is now third, with Levi McIntyre fourth and Nick Barney in fifth. Sixth place is Joshua Collar. Dougie Shears in seventh. Michael Norman is eighth. Cole Daly runs one lap down, I believe. Oh no, he's not lap down. I'm sorry. They haven't updated the running order. He's actually in ninth. And 10th place is the first of the cars that pitted, Kyle Corbett. Anthony, one thing that I've noticed this weekend, I want to get your input on it, is more often than not, we've seen these drivers come down pit road and take fuel, but not really take on tires. What do you think is the explanation for that? Is this track not real hard on tire wear, or are these guys, just not willing to give up track position for the fresh rubber?
Ooh, depending on the track surface, tires are. Uh, hmm. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, like, usually you would want to take tires, but I guess they think that since they've only been out for a few laps, tires aren't really gonna be that much of a factor. And really, you want warm tires. You want some like really hot tires on road courses because that gives you the grip. And so since all most of these turns are different types of turns, you have like the sharp hairpins, you have the long swooping turns. I mean, you want warm tires to grip the track, and if you're only out for a few laps, then your tires are just getting to warmth. So that means your grip level is at full, and getting new tires, they're now cold tires, and then you'll have to get your grip back. So I mean, tire wear is, something you need to look out for, but really what you want are warm tires. So good strategy on some of these teams, but if you don't change your tires for a while, it could bite you in the butt.
As we are back to green flag racing here, and it was a single file restart this time as opposed to double wide start for this race, so maybe, just maybe, fingers crossed we'll go under a bit of a green flag run here, but right now Kyle Matthews leading Jacob Lawler, and I noticed that another driver there that we saw use strategy last week at Darlington and it worked, he got a runner-up finish, was Nick Barney. He decided to stay out under this caution, and here he is trying to look for back-to-back top fives.
Indeed, he is. He's in a position where he can do it if we get another quick caution, and then he can, stretch the fuel some more if they don't pit. So Nick Barney, definitely one of the drivers to look at in this race, as looks like the 40, no, that's the 45 was all over the back end of the leader up ahead.
That's the 11 there.
Oh, that's the 11.
Jacob Lawler, and he's going to the inside. Jacob Lawler looking for the bottom, and Lawler had a good run in the Truck Series race here a couple of days ago as they're going to head back behind where our camera won't be able to see them, so we'll go to helicopter view.
I think he's got the...
Oh, go ahead.
He's made the pass.
I think
he's made the
yeah,
pass.
he cleared him. And Jacob Lawler, with a good run last week at Darlington, worked his way inside the top 10 in points, so he's been on a bit of a good streak of finishes lately.
Ooh, Matthews washed up a bit.
And that could maybe come into play, the fact maybe that he didn't pit that last time and the tire wear is coming down. I don't know. We have not seen any drivers have any tire problems, but to my knowledge, no driver this entire race weekend has made a 4-tire stop.
Well, in like sports car racing, we don't really have full course yellows happen like we have here in the Snickers Cup Series. So drivers will stay out. Say you go to Sebring in the 12 hours of Sebring, drivers will stay out for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes without any tires, and that track is super, super hard on tires. So, and they'll stay out without a tire stop, and then they'll come in, they'll be screaming for tires at that point. But they've been out there for an hour and 15 minutes without tires, so without fresh tires anyway. So I guess that the tire compound that they have here is just that right compound where it doesn't wear very easily, and these drivers don't really have to take that many tires. So definitely something we need to look out for in terms of if we do have a problem, then we'll consult the rule book for changing tires under green flag. But and then. But I don't think the tires are going to be that big of a problem. I think it's going to be stretching it out on fuel is going to be the problem.
And look at what we got here. We've been under the green flag now for, I believe, 2 laps. No yellow flag has come out. So now the big question mark is, those 9 drivers that stayed out, can they make it on one more stop if we go clean and green to the end? If not, then can those other drivers that came down pit road back on lap 3, can they make it on one more stop? Because they've got about 2 more laps of fuel in the tank than these other guys. So it's going to be a big chess match now if we do not have another caution come out.
Right. I mean, it's old. I can't really say old tires because that we just covered that, but it's less gas versus full tank. So I'm not sure what we could see because I don't know the fuel window for these cars, and judging it right now based on what we've seen, it's going to be a little hard because they haven't come in yet. And so I don't know if they can make it to. If these drivers that didn't pit can make it to about lap 10 without pitting, and that means that the drivers that pitted will still have to pit, and then Jacob Lawler will Jacob Waller and all these drivers that didn't pit will just kind of go into pit road and they'll maintain their lead after coming out because the drivers that pitted under the caution will cycle around and then the lead will cycle back to whoever was the leader at that point. So definitely going to be interesting to watch throughout the course of the race, and I don't know, we'll just have to see.
All right, battle on for second. Kyle Matthews has been able to hang on, but
Oh,
he's
my
got
phone's ringing. Give me a second.
he's got Levi McIntyre, Joshua Collard, Nick Barney all over his back
Hello?
bumper for that position. As Anthony is currently on the phone, so we're going to talk real quickly here, and we'll bring Anthony into this conversation when he comes back here. We ended up having in the Truck Series race Joe Gibbs Racing go to victory lane and finish in second in the Truck Series race with Bob Jones and Tanner Sullivan. In the Mobile One Cup Series race, we had George Roque go to victory lane with his teammate Ian Dutta finishing right behind him in second. Never in an NSRA weekend have we had a 1-2 finish in all three races of that race weekend. We have an opportunity for that. However, the closest Joe Gibbs car right now to Jacob Lawler, I believe, is Mary Cole, currently running in the 10th position. But look at the potential of other teams that are up here with an opportunity for that happening. You got the 43 and the 45 of Joshua Collard and Harrison Langford. You've got the 16 and the 17 of Levi McIntyre and Nick Barney. We could end up making history here today in the NNSCRA by having the first ever weekend sweep of 1-2 finishes by the same teams. Let's look back here. I saw another driver up here that probably we should talk about, Michael Norman. This is a guy that really is needing a good run here, and this is, as we dub it, the chase to the chase. This is when drivers start to make their moves to be able to situate themselves for getting into the chase for the championship. And Michael Norman, he is a former winner this season, won back, I believe, was at Spartan, but he's 29th in points. So he either needs to get on a good streak of good runs or get himself another win to maybe put himself up in the wild card position. So having a good run here today in the 7th position, he could be one to watch here at the end as he, Joshua Collard, make that Harrison Langford up ahead, Kyle Matthews, they've all been to victory lane this season. They could be trying to look for a wild card spot, and I believe Anthony has now rejoined us.
Yes, I have. I just got a call from Ibanez, and they're getting ready to fix my base. Yay!
Yay! Well, Anthony, I want to bring you in on something that I was just talking about while you were gone. The Truck Series race, we ended up having Joe Gibbs Racing go to victory lane 1-2 with Bob Jones winning and Tanner Sullivan, his teammate, in second. In the Mobile One Cup Series race, it was George Roque going to victory lane with his teammate from Junior Motorsports, Ian Dutta, finishing in second. We have an opportunity here to make history and have a potential 1-2 finish sweep in a race weekend. Right now, Jacob Lawler's teammate, Mary Cole, is the highest up for Joe Gibbs Racing to maybe sweep the Snickers Cup Series 1-2, but she's back in the 10th position. What do you think of that opportunity for history to be made here in the NSRA?
Uh, wow. Wow.
I don't think we've ever actually been this close to it. I don't know if we'll complete it today. That would be awesome if we did, but I think this is the closest we've ever been to having something like that happen.
That's all I can say is wow.
And how cool
Man,
would it be for Joe Gibbs Racing if they were able to do it 2 of the 3 weeks? Because they did it, or 2 of the 3 races, because they did it in trucks. If they could do it here in Snickers, that would be quite a coup for that team.
Oh, I know it. That would be like, I mean, they had terrible runs at Darlington, and then to come here and then to be in a possible position to make history. I mean, boom, there you go.
And we talked about international drivers at the beginning of the race. Highest running international driver, Joshua Collard, currently in the 3rd position. His teammate Harrison Langford not too far behind. I'll tell you, Collard, ever since he ended up winning that fuel strategy race back at Pukekohe, he has been on fire. He's worked his way up to 9th in the point stands. This is his rookie season, and I think he was probably a favorite coming into this race because of his road course experience. And he's having a good run right now. He's not letting 1st and 2nd get away, but he's not letting 4th and 5th catch up to him either.
And no, he's not. I mean, he's holding his ground, and he's actually running down. 2nd place is, I think, actually Matthews is running down the leader now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that little
This is
gap that the 11 had in the 5 has closed up a bit.
this we've made it to lap 10, and these drivers haven't had to stop yet. So, the fuel window may be to lap 10, and if that's the case, then if these drivers come down this lap, then the drivers behind them that did pit on that caution will still have to come in and pit around lap 12 or the 13. So still, right now, it's Jacob Lawler is looking good right now.
Yeah, I think if you're these guys that are up here at the front, the ones that had stayed out under our only caution of the day, I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but I think you'd probably want to have the fuel window be where you're talking about. You don't want to come in and pit like around lap 15, lap 16, because then you know that the other drivers that are behind you that pitted under that caution, they're about 2 laps better on fuel, and they could try stretching it to the end. So I think that they would really like it if they all had to make green flag pit stops within maybe the next 2 or 3 laps.
I know it. And these drivers aren't just going to, stop and hope that everyone stops behind them, kind of trick
Oh,
them with
caution flags out. This changes everything.
Never mind. Throw that strategy out the window.
That's the second time the caution flag has killed your commentary.
Yep. There you go. That caution flag. You see, we don't run caution flags in the World Sports Car Championship. We just run local area cautions. So this is a new concept. Caution at a road course.
So now this changes everything. This now we know that these drivers that didn't pit, they made it 11 laps without having to make a pit stop. I don't know, but we might see everybody come down pit road this time to be able to make it the rest of the way.
Indeed, we could. Now, if that is the case, then there goes the whole stretching it out on fuel strategy. But if for grins and giggles, I'm gonna throw the idea up: if the drivers that pitted back on lap 2 stay out, then that puts them in the catbird seat, and they don't have to pit. I don't think they'd have to pit unless it comes right down to the wire, because we don't really know what the pit window is still, because the caution came out and just killed our commentary again.
Yeah.
So,
Well, here's the thing I'm thinking.
wow.
We ended up having those drivers come down pit road on lap 2. Now, the thing is, though, when we went back to green, those drivers that did pit really didn't do a good job of passing these guys up here who did not pit. The actual highest runner of the drivers that pitted back on lap 2 is Mary Cole. She's in 8th place, and Kyle Corbett actually restarted in 9th. So they've only made up one position based on where all those other drivers started. So, if they want to roll the dice, it gains them track position. If they all pit here on this lap, it's going to be pretty difficult, I think, still for those drivers that did pit under the first caution to be able to pass these guys.
Yeah, that's another thing we got to look out for. And right now, there's a bunch of crew chiefs on the pit box biting their nails, hoping that something good happens.
Well, the drivers are now coming around this corner. They'll be going down the behind the grandstands. I think we're gonna quickly see who the caution came out for. It looks like it was Cole Daly and maybe Anthony McCurry too. 2 cars there.
Oh.
Yeah.
When will I get a break?
Hey, you were the only finishing Audi last week. Be happy.
That is true. But I've almost gone 2 seats without a win. I'm pulling off of Dale Jr.
Oh,
Anyway,
boy.
so Jacob Lawler comes down pit road, and it looks like everyone's going to follow in after him.
Yep, we'll
And
look
to
back
your
at the
point, Seth,
replay and...
earlier
Oh, go ahead.
to your point earlier, I think the reason why the drivers that pitted on lap 2 couldn't catch everyone up at the front that didn't pit was because no one took tires. So
Good
tire
point.
wear wasn't really an issue, and it looks like everyone's in. So
Everyone's in, with the exception of McCurry. Now that's interesting.
Okay.
McCurry ended up having damage. I'm almost wondering maybe the wreck happened and McCurry came down pit road under the last lap, so he may not have to come down this time.
Guys, bad strategy. Don't listen to me. Never listen to me.
Oh, James
Okay,
Silverfox
we're
almost
gonna
having
freight
trouble getting
train
into his
in the
pit
first-
stop.
we're
Oh,
gonna
wow.
freight train on the first lap.
Wait a minute. Nick Barney. He
Oh,
was the
did the 60
fastest
get
off.
first?
Yes, he was. Wow.
Okay. That was a splash and go.
Talk about money stop.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, this is lap 2, and well, I don't know. Maybe he can stretch it.
I don't know if Nick Barney pitted maybe under this green flag run or something, but no. Well, I don't know. It is interesting strategy because I don't think anybody went with tires. There may have been a couple that went with two tires, but Nick Barney pulled off pit strategy last week, got a runner-up finish. I mean, it may work again. And look at this. Anthony McCurry, I'm pretty certain Anthony may have come down pit road after he and I believe Cole Daly must have gotten together, made the pit stop, comes back out, and then when everybody else pits, he's able to cycle around to the lead.
The only damage I see on that car is the rear deck lid, and you know what? The only place where aero, the aerodynamics will come into play is on this backstretch. But other than that, I mean, it's a road course. You don't really need aerodynamics that much at some of these heavy turns. So the only place where aerodynamics will really even come into play is in this area. And if the rear deck lid's the only thing that's damaged, then that car may be just as fast as all the other cars, maybe even a little faster now that the rear end's all crunched up.
Just for an example, Megan Atkins, her hood actually was ripped off under the last caution. She's still running on the lead lap.
And to your point there, I mean, the Megan Atkins, I mean, heavy damaged car, it's still running on the lead lap. It is a big track, but still she's running on the lead lap. So, and we've been under a long green flag run, so that just shows you that she's been fighting to stay on the lead lap. Is we're about to go to green. We might want to go take a look at what
Yeah,
happened.
we're going to quickly go look at a replay of what happened to Cole Daly, 8th in points, and Anthony McCurry, our current leader. Yes, I just said our current leader brought out the caution flag. Let's look back and see what happened.
Who would have thought?
Several drivers we didn't know involved in this caution were involved. One of them was William Duncan, just inside the top 20, and looks like Pichu London's going to get into his right rear right about there. Yep.
Second time we've seen someone crash on the back in this backstretch area.
Oh, wow.
And ooh, that was a hard impact.
And that's not a safer barrier there either.
No, I don't think there are any safer barriers on this track.
And there's Daniel Day. He's going to get involved. Trent Dunham's already got damage back here. I don't know where he got his contact from unless he ran into the back of the 24. We'll find out in a minute. But it's not over.
99 took a pretty hard shot.
Noah Hart. So close.
Ooh.
Oh, there's Cody Lamas, though. And the 99 is going to flip.
Oh my goodness, second car.
Flipping
What is it
and
about the
barreling.
Champs-Elysees and cars flipping?
I don't know. I know that these cars have stronger engines than the trucks and Mobile One cars do. It brings about higher speeds, so that may be the reason.
Well, the 61 and the 15, was that the 15 now? The 61's rear end was crunched up, and I think Lamas's front end was crunched up, so maybe the two ran into each other.
Well, I know. Yeah, that's Charles Sanford there in the 55.
Sanford, it was the 55.
Oh, this was
Okay.
something
That was
earlier
15.
on. This may be where Trent Dunham got his damage. Let's find out here. Oh,
Yeah, 'cause
there was
Sanford's
a
got
wreck further
his
back
front end.
here.
Oh, another car flipped.
This was the 88, I believe, of Cole Daly.
Yeah, what is it with these cars flipping? That's three cars that have flipped this race so
I
far.
don't really know.
And again, the caution comes out around in this same area. Oh, hard in the wall.
That was Silver Fox getting into Daly. Galligan nearly gets collected, and then Silver Fox again gonna turn the 88 around, and I think they were 3 wide behind here, so it's not gonna end well.
It's gonna stack up really fast, and then everyone's
Oh.
gonna run into each other. Oh
Poteet,
yeah, right there.
Dunham, William Duncan.
There's just nowhere to go.
There's McCurry. He's gonna get rear-ended by Sanford. Dylan Young, Henley. There's Ian Dutta, points leader, held up back here.
Now, whatever happens after this crash is going to set the stage for the end of the race, because I don't think that these drivers are going to race too extreme after what just happened here.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a shootout, and we went under a long green flag run, so, if a caution flag doesn't come into play, these drivers are going to be fighting tooth and claw for every position they can get.
Absolutely. I mean, is that 4 wide? Okay, no, never mind. It looked like it was 4
3
wide.
wide, about 2 rows deep, so, but
Close enough.
pretty close to 4 wide.
You might as well just call it 4 wide, because that's about as dangerous as going 4 wide is going to be.
And I saw this guy, Ian Dutta, get held up behind all that. I don't know how many positions he lost as a result of it, but I don't know where Danny Wells is. Let's see. Ian Dutta was scored 26th last time around. Danny was scored 17th. So the points lead could be cut into.
No, I mean, man, Danny Wells is on a hot streak right now. If he can keep this up, then he's probably got to, you know, to your point, put a huge dent in the point standings.
Well, we are under the caution flag for two more incidents here on lap 10. Drivers have all made pit stops. It's time to go back racing to finish out today's event.
Indeed, indeed.
Cars on the, I guess we can call it the back straightaway in a sense, as they're going to be coming out of the final corner here in just a moment. Anthony McCurry is the current leader. Second place is Nick Barney, Jacob Lawler third, and it's Kyle Matthews, Joshua Card, Levi McIntyre, Michael Norman, Kyle Corbett, Andrea Erickson, and Harrison Langford. That's the top 10 as we are getting ready to go back to green. Green flag's back out. Let's see if Anthony McCurry, a damaged car, can hold these guys back. Well, immediately Nick Barney jumps to the inside.
Yeah, I predicted it. I was going to get dive bombed in the first corner.
Three wide.
Nice.
Jacob Lawler, Nick Barney, Anthony McCurry. But Anthony holding his own there for a moment, now backs out of it.
I think Lawler, and it's going to come down between Nick Barney and Jacob Lawler.
Right now, Jacob Lawler, I think we can safely say, has been the strongest car of the day, as he's led a majority of this race. But Nick Barney there, and here comes Joshua Collard, and oh man, they're stacked up back here for fourth on back.
Just because of that 61 car being in the way.
That could be. I mean, yeah, he looks like he's slightly up to speed, but I think that these other drivers are getting a little bit more speed than he is.
Come on, Anthony. You always complain about back markers, and now you're being a back marker.
Looks like he's going to get out of the way, though.
Yeah, I knew that run was going to last very long. Okay, I'm not going to flip a table, then. I told Seth if I won the race after crashing, I was going to flip a table, but...
No table flipping.
No tables will die today.
Oh, Nick Barney coming to pit road. Something's wrong with the 16.
Oh, no. He was having a great run. Oh, wait a minute. Did he even pit that one? Maybe he just went to...
No, I saw him come off pit road. He came off the pit road exit.
Oh, yeah, but maybe he just went through and he didn't pit. Maybe he missed his pit stall.
Oh, they're going on the left side. I wonder if he had a tire going down.
Yeah, word is tire down.
Left side's on the 16. Must have been a left front or a left rear. That is a tough break for Nick Barney.
But hey, a tire went down on the 16, one of the dominant cars. Maybe the tires are going to come into play after all.
Who knows? I mean, I know a couple drivers did go with some tires on that last pit stop, but a number of the drivers up here at the front obviously did not. So you're right, that could come into play now. I think the crew chiefs for these guys are going to be pretty nervous.
I know. I mean, like, I didn't think it was going to matter that much, but you know what? We've already seen Nick Barney go down. Who's going to be next on the hit list?
Well, right now, I think Jacob Lawler is on Joshua Collard's hit list. Collard closing right up to the back bumper of the 11 machine. Both these drivers inside the top 10 in points. Lawler's not been to victory lane yet this season. Joshua Collard has. So the question is, who wants it more?
I'm gonna think it's gonna be Lawler. I think. Oh, when the 43 slipped up through the turn.
I think he tried the bump and run, and he got himself loose. But look at this crossover move. He's gonna get to the inside of the 11 heading into the first corner.
We obviously know the faster car is. That's for sure.
He ran down the 11, and he's gonna clear the 11, I believe, in this corner. Moved Joshua Collard to the point. First time today the 43 has been out in front. And keep in mind, last road course race we were at, Pukekohe in New Zealand. We are at another international road course, and the 43, same car that he drove at Pukekohe, is out in front.
They brought the same car for the race that they raced not too long ago back at Pukekohe, and it looks like it's going to be probably the best decision this team's made this season so far.
I don't know how he did it, but I just saw a car that's jumped up into the top 10. Jake Rogers is up in the 8th position right now. What a great run for that 22. It's been a very dismal season for that Penske team, and he is running in the top 10 right now.
I know. That's a great run for the 22 so far, and I don't even know where he came from. He pulled off a Nick Barney.
Yeah, exactly. And right behind him, Dougie Shears, Season 1 Snickers Cup Series champ. He's in 9th place. Another driver trying to get his season turned around. He's 32nd in points. Rogers is 37th in the standings. As we'll move back up here to the front. Good battle for third going on between Kyle Matthews and Harrison Langford.
We've seen a lot of drivers in the top 10 in this race that either crashed out or did terribly last week at Darlington. So, hey, maybe something clicked and they're trying to. A lot of these drivers are trying to get their season turned around.
Okay, this is a road course. Road courses are normally pretty long, and lap traffic does not come into play. But I just saw a driver up ahead here, James Silverfox. He is not too far ahead of the leaders. We could, at a road course, I can't believe I'm saying some of the things I'm saying today, but we could have a lap car come into play in the finish of this race.
That's not entirely abnormal though, because remember in some of the GT series, including the World Sports Car Championship, there are multi-class battles. So you get like a slower car and a faster car, and two separate classes get together, and that could dramatically alter the outcome of the overall race. So in this series, since we have no class battles, a lap car is an MG1 to a lap car is an MG1 to a C5. That's the best analogy I can think of at this moment right now. So, yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
And they are going to catch him, I think. I don't know. I mean, we still have, when we get the stripe, we got 2 to go. Silver Fox is, I believe, 2 laps down, up ahead. And for a moment there, we had a 3-car fight for the lead. Oh, Harrison Langford going underneath Jacob Lawler. Anthony, it's Petty Motorsports 1-2 right now.
Holy cow!
It could happen.
It could happen.
Oh my goodness.
History could be made here.
Right now, 2 laps to go. Collard leads his teammate Langford. Both of those rookie drivers for Petty Enterprises have gone to victory lane this season. Both, amazingly enough, at road courses. Collard won at Pukekohe, and Langford won at Thornton.
Well, I think we know who's going to be up with the front for the rest of the race, provided they don't have to pit for tires.
Wow, and keep in mind, you got the lap car up ahead as well.
Where is he in terms of where these drivers are?
Well, there is Silver Fox just now entering into the corner before you get to the straightaway, and
no,
there
they're
is
right behind him.
Right behind him. We're going to have the white flag this next time around. They may encounter him, I don't know. And Langford's starting to close in on his teammate.
How many races has it been since we debuted at this track? Like, how many races have we run here at this track since we debuted?
This is the 3rd season we've had Champs-Élysées on the schedule.
3rd season, the 3rd time I've been here, and the 3rd time that we're going to have an epic finish. White flag out. What's going to happen? Silver Fox is in the same camera shot.
And look at this. You got 2 teammates, both in the top 10 in points. Both have a win this season. This could be for a wild card spot between 2 teammates.
And here comes Lawler trying to, break up the history-making race right now. And I think if Collard can just, run his race and just stay away from Silver Fox, it could be a Petty 1-2 history made, and the 2nd win for Joshua Collard, and the 3rd win for Petty.
And it's looking like maybe... Whoa, here comes Langford making a move on the inside of his teammate.
Holy cow, here we go.
There's no friends on the final lap. Langford's going to bypass Collard. New leader. First time today, the sprint dodge of Langford.
Last lap pass could just mean the win.
It was like Collard was standing still. I don't know what happened to Josh, but apparently the 45 was much faster in that one area of the track, and it looks like he may take the lead and the win. Collard going to try and maybe dive bomb here in the final corner.
He's got that slipstream. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. I think it's going to be Langford, though, pulling out ahead. Lawler's right behind, down to the line. I think it's going to be Langford first, Collard second, Petty 1-2. History made, and the 2nd win for Harrison Langford.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. I don't
3 races,
believe it.
3 fantastic finishes.
And 3 1-2 finishes this weekend.
Holy cow. History
You gotta
made.
be kidding me.
Team sweeps each race.
Wow.
What more could you want?
Unbelievable. And, man, I don't think Harrison Langford even was really in the same sentence as potential race winner today. He just basically hung around from, like, 5th place on back to about 10th place this entire race. And boom, he just bypassed Collard as if he was basically standing still, and he takes home the win.
He looked like he had a DRS on his car, but of course DRSs don't exist in this series. Man,
And what a
that was.
tough break for Collard, but I think he'll be
Is he
satisfied
out
with
of
the second.
gas?
He may be. I don't know. Everybody's bypassing him.
I think he's out of gas.
His speedometer is going down. I think he is. He is out of fuel.
That's probably why he won. He had less fuel than
Oh my
Collard did.
goodness.
His car was that much lighter than Collard's car was.
I didn't think with them pitting when they did that they were going to be close on fuel, but apparently so. Look at this. Everybody's bypassing him. He is not maintaining speed.
Either that or he's just way too excited to keep the car under power.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. That's his second road course race of the season. It looks like the petty cars are the road course cars right now.
Absolutely. No doubt about that.
Wow.
Man.
Holy cow.
And that
Langford goes to victory lane at Thornton. He goes to victory lane here. Collard gets second. History made with the first time in 3 races in the same weekend that there was a 1-2 finish between teams. Holy cow.
And how about the announcement at the beginning of the season? Dodge coming in with 2 teams, Petty Enterprises and Everham Mayonnaise Racing. There have been 4 wins by Dodge drivers so far this season.
There you go. There you go. The Dodgers just do not die, and that is this race proves it that the Dodgers just do not die. I don't think that a Dodge was even leading the race until after the restart, the final restart.
And apparently, I'm looking on the top left, the flagman's waving a yellow. We may have actually had a caution come out on that final lap, even though it wasn't going to matter, but I think that they had a yellow on the final lap here.
Holy cow.
I don't know who it would have involved here. I'm trying to look. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, I think I do know who it involved. I think it may have been the 47 of Noah Hart.
Uh-oh. Another Audi with a problem.
Oh, boy. Let's see if we can find out real quickly what happened here. This did not come into play in the finish of this race, but it's noteworthy with the fact that Noah Hart comes into this race 3rd in the point standings. Could have an impact in the points itself. Let's see if we can find out what happened. The caution came out. Well, let's see. They came down to the white.
Maybe it was just a lap down.
I don't know. Actually, we're gonna real quickly here just see when the flagman does wave that yellow flag, because I'm interested to know what this caution came out for.
Unless Langford sprung a leak and they threw a caution for oil.
It could be. I don't know. I mean, the race was over. Okay, so there's the checkered
There's
flag.
checkered. So there's checkered. There's Langford's coming across the line right about now.
Let's look at the pace car. That would probably tell us better when the caution came.
Unless the flagman just derped and threw a yellow just because he wanted to wave it.
I don't know. That could be.
Let's see. You darn French flagman. I don't think the pace car ever registered that there was a caution.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Never mind.
Lights coming on there. Let's see if we can
find
an incident. Oh, wait a minute. Was it Drew Austin?
Was it Schwallenberg or Austin?
Austin was out of fuel and stopped on the track. I think that could have been what it was.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
We'll look further through here, just in case.
So Langford wasn't the only one that was short on fuel. A lot of these drivers were short on fuel.
And it was another Dodge driver too, so that could, the Dodge fuel mileage, I don't know.
Well, the Dodge fuel mileage, regardless of what the fuel mileage is like, they won the race still, but let's not forget that Austin was involved in a wreck earlier with his teammate. Well, it wasn't really a wreck, he just kind of ran off the track, so there might have been something broken under the car. And I think it just finally let go.
Yeah, I think the 9 car comes to a halt right there, and that's when the caution came out. Yup, it was for the stopped machine of Drew Austin on track.
Just letting people know that there's a car that's
Chris Washer, another Dodge was out of fuel.
What is with the Dodges running out of
was out of fuel. The points leader Ian Dutta was out of fuel.
Did he even make it to the line?
Cittadino was out of fuel. Dylan Young was out of fuel. Atkins, McCrory, Mason. What?
Did they even make it to the line? Is this after the checkered flag?
I don't know. Let's see. Oh yeah,
Because
this was after the checkers.
okay, that was after the checkered flag. So at least
LaPlante,
they finished the race.
Henley,
But
Corbett,
still,
Wells, they're all out of fuel. They're crawling to pit road.
so that lets us know that they didn't take a full can of gas on the last stop.
Apparently.
They just took, and maybe that's why the 16 had to pit. Maybe he didn't get enough gas in there and he realized it and he had to come back down.
That could
Oh
very
wait, no,
well
never
be.
mind. Oh, never mind. He had to take tires. Never mind.
Well, he had to
He had the
take
flat
tires.
tire.
Yeah, that's true. But,
He
you
had
know,
the,
they,
he
they
had the flat
say that
tire.
in order to get the tank full of fuel, 2 tires is basically, if you take 2 tires, your gas tank's going to be filled by then. So maybe they decided just to kill time to put the 2 tires on there. And maybe if some other drivers ran out of fuel, that fresh rubber could pick them up some track position or something.
Right. I would have changed all four personally, because changing 2 tires at a road course doesn't really do you much good. But
Right. And a lot of drivers had to teleport to pit road after running out of fuel. But let's take a look at our official top 10 results for today's race. 1-2 finish for Petty Enterprises today. Langford outdoes his teammate and gets the win. Collard, though, very, very good run second. Dominant car of the day undoubtedly was Jacob Lawler, although it didn't really seem like it near the end there. But a third place run for him, that'll keep him in the top 10 in points. How about Michael Norman? Great run for the 3-car here today. We really didn't talk about him much. We spotlighted him at one point, but a good run for his Chevrolet in fourth.
and then you have the 5 of Kyle Matthews there in fifth. The 5 is in fifth place. Imagine that.
Wow.
And
Yeah, already.
that's Kyle Corbett, I believe, in sixth.
Yeah, the
He
pole sitter.
started pole sitters, still finished in the top 10, so that's something that we haven't normally seen.
Jake
Uh,
Rogers, we talked about him. The great run he had of seventh. Levi McIntyre, nice run for him in eighth. This guy's been having a lot of tough luck. 36th in points. He's actually dead last of the rookies in the rookie standings that took the green flag at Daytona. Solid run for him. And Andrea Erickson, there's a big surprise for me because she was 11th in the point standings coming into this race, 6th in rookie points. A top 10 today, she could be back inside the top 10 in points.
Indeed, she could, and then rounding up the top 10 is going to be your season 1 champion, Dougie Shears.
And now comes the interesting thing. Where did the top guns in the points finish? Now we know that Langford, 6th in points, ended up winning this race. So he's going to probably be up in the hunt for a top 5 spot in the standings heading next week. But we got to find out where Ian Dutta, Danny Wells, Noah Hart, Bob Jones, and Megan Atkins all finished. And the highest finishing of those is going to be Bob Jones, who, remember, ended up getting spun out back under our first caution, 19th place today.
19th is where the highest runner, one of the top 5 in points, finishes. Other than Langford, I can assume that everyone's going to have a worse than 20th finish. Oh, actually, no, that's the 66 right there.
Yeah, Ian Dutta, 20th place. That, I'm pretty sure will keep him the points lead because Danny Wells didn't finish anywhere close to ahead of him. But,
right.
you know, a top 20, nothing to be ashamed of.
Nothing to be ashamed of, especially because with the pit strategies and whatever and what have you.
Megan Atkins, she didn't have a hood this whole race. She finishes in 23rd, so not a bad run for a car that was damaged like hers was. And Danny Wells finished right behind her in 24th, and then Noah Hart ended up having something happen. I don't know what it was, but he finished as the last car on the lead lap in the 34th position. That was why I thought he maybe was the caution flag, but apparently not.
Aw.
And then you look at the drivers out of the race. They were Trent Dunham, Cody Lamas, Daniel Day, William Duncan, who went for a flip, Cole Daly, who went for a flip, Charles Sanford, and Charles Jackson, who we're hoping is okay after the hard hit and flip he took after going driver's side first into the pit road entrance wall.
That wasn't just a flip. That was a royal flip.
Yeah, that was one hard lick, and one of the hardest licks I've seen taken here at this track. There were a lot of hard licks today, a lot of wild rides, and not typical of what you see at a road course.
3 cars flipped. Who'd have thought?
Wow.
So, Seth, 3 seasons, 3 races here in the Snickers Cup Series, and 3 fantastic finishes. 3 fantastic races in a row, and history made this race, which makes it even more fantastic.
Well, look at
So I
the
think
impact that Champs-Elysees has had since it made its debut in NNSCRA schedule. Go back to season 5. John Cittadino picked up a win here in the Champs-Elysees debut race. He ended up going on to be a 6-time winner that season and won the championship. Fast forward to season 6, Jeffrey Buckeye makes his final Snickers Cup Series start, picks up the win. And here today, we end up making history with a 1-2 finish in Snickers, 1-2 finish in Mobile, and 1-2 finish in Trucks. This track brings about some really cool stuff.
indeed, and I think this is the first season with a last lap pass that decided the race.
I think you may be right on that too, yes.
And yeah, we've also started a new tradition here in the NSCRA with me joining you for Saint Elysees. I'm kind of like the poteet for Saint Elysees.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes. All right.
yeah.
Well, we're going to be taking leave of you guys. Hope you enjoyed this race weekend. Anthony, any closing thoughts?
Uh, guys, tires do not always mean anything at this track. No, they don't always mean anything. I don't think any drivers took for. I don't think any of the leaders took any tires this entire race. So the tire guys had a pretty easy job today.
They did. They'll get a paycheck for just sitting there and cheering.
Indeed. And any other closing thoughts? I can't wait for next season's race here at Champs-Elysees. And Seth, I want to thank you for having me. This has been a tradition that I've enjoyed very
It's
much.
been a pleasure having you. It's always great to have your road course experience come into play with the commentary here. And really looking forward to next year as well to be able to have you in the booth again. Hope you guys enjoyed this race. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. Be sure to subscribe to Anthony's channel as well, Silver Machine 9000. Link to his channel is in the description. Be sure to head over there and subscribe to him, as I believe the NCG MRS 500 is going to be coming up pretty soon, so you'll want to tune in for that. Always an exciting event whenever that comes around, and it's your 5th NCG MRS anniversary race too.
Indeed, it's the fifth race of the NCGMers 500, so it's going to be extra special because it's going to be a longer race, 100 laps. It's going to have a sort of pre-race show thing to it. It's going to be its own separate video because I got thinking about it, and with the time it takes to do the race and the pre-show, it's going to be over 2 hours because YouTube hates me. I can't upload anything over 2 hours, so that's going to be that. Also, debuting a new NC Jammers 500 tradition, the Freedom 100, which will be kind of like the nationwide race to the NC Jammers 500, which this season will get 3 lucky drivers into the NC Jammers 500 via winning, fastest lap, and or the lucky fan draw. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty exciting event, and I can't wait for Seth and Ralph to join me for that race, as one of them has done for the past 2 races, and this time both of you are going to be with me, so it's going to be extra special. And I just want to thank all the fans for supporting it. Yada 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 yada. Mush up to the fans. Okay, we're done here.
Excellent. Well, we are going to be heading next week. We're actually not leaving the Europe, Asia area. We are actually going to be heading to Rockingham, UK next week for Trucks, Mobile, and Snickers Cup Series action, so hopefully you guys will tune in for that. So we will show you now your finishing results and your point standings. Certainly going to be a bit of a point shake-up, I would think, here today with where everybody ended up finishing. So we will see you guys next time here on the NSRA Offline Racing at its best.
Bye.